what really is the difference between a CMA, a CFO, a CPA? Like, let's break down some of these terms and how this all works.
Yeah, no, happy to. So CPA, that's going to be what 99% of people think when they think of an accountant. That's that, goofy guy in the background, dirty guy, cranking taxes for you and making sure all of that is, everything's in place. All the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. And they're really looking back a lot of the times at your historical financials to make sure everything is prepped properly and it's filed. That also might be the person who can give you your financials to date. But where a CPA kind of falls off in my experience, and you may have, I know that they cover it some inside of their curriculum, is it doesn't hit enough on the future part, the part about making your business. CMA is all about that. Certified management accounting. It's doing management accounting, which is, providing accounting reports for management to take and utilize and actually make changes in their business that are going to make them money in the future versus just trying to keep stuff in today. And so I'd say that's a big difference in how you should think about those two roles. So CPA, again, more ingrained. CMA, I'd say my understanding is it's relatively to the field, which is a very old field, but relatively a newer certification there. And yeah, it's very geared around your financial person becoming a partner in your business versus just this external person that you talk to a couple times a year for your tax strategy and structure.
So for somebody who's looking to acquire, so it sounds to me like CPA is really the main, the creme de la creme, the primary designation for somebody doing accounting and tax preparation, right? That's going to be looking backward. CMA, if somebody, whoever's listening to this, if they're like, I do need somebody helping me make sense of the numbers and the money, and they're looking for that CFO role, right? Because a CFO is a role, a CPA is a designation, and it sounds to me like a CMA is a designation as well. Sounds like if you're looking for a CFO, it's not something that would be beneficial to know is, do they have a CMA? Is this, and that it sounds to me like that might be a leading indicator of knowledge or experience in that CFO role. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say that, if I was hiring for a CFO for my business, which obviously, even as a finance guy, if I'm running a business, I don't need to be the person being my CFO at the same time. That's too many hats, right? But if I'm hiring for a CFO for my business and I see a CMA there, I immediately think that's somebody that can help me strategically and make all that work. And I'm like, well, that's great. Because when it comes down to getting your taxes filed and having the right structure, unless you're like an Amazon or something, you're probably going to want to get an external CPA firm that's, getting the taxes. They've worked with a lot of clients like yours. They understand the tax structures appropriately. So it's really two different hats that you want to make sure that you get filled within your organization. And especially as a small business, both of those hats, seeking those separately is usually pretty good. However, as on our side, we work directly with a CPA firm that we've partnered with to provide that aspect there. So we really manage that relationship also for you guys. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, and I agree, and I do love that because part of and as you know, I'm pretty open about this. It's funny to me now, but I used to hate taxes, and part of that was I felt like it was a game I had to play that I never understood. I still don't really, if I'm being honest, but that's the thing about growing a business is you hire people smarter than you in different functions, right? But the one thing that, I literally, back when I was kind of this perpetual struggling entrepreneur trying to find his way, I literally went a decade without paying taxes, right? And there's obviously guilt and shame that comes around that because it's there's nothing cool about it. I'm anti-tax for the gist of it because I'm quite libertarian, right? However, there's not really a cool thing to be like, I don't pay taxes. There's reasons you don't pay taxes, right? It's and so I've learned to kind of reframe the way I look at that is it's like, okay, well, taxes are a sign that I did something, right? Now, I still don't like paying them. I hate taxes, but I changed my relationship with them over the years from how I perceive them because it's like, yes, it still sucks. I don't like them any more than I used to like. However, I look at it now as an indicator of success for me because the IRS doesn't have a target on you unless you've done something worth doing, right? And so that's why I went 10 years without getting Wesley sniped because, it's like, why would they waste resources? There's nothing to waste resources on, right? And so now it's like, I just have a different relationship with that side of it, which I think is really cool.